Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Vanakkam, Ellarkum. So
Hare Krishna.
I'd like to welcome all the students, participants for this Zoom class today. So today we'll be going through the second portion of the part 2, titled Journey of the Soul After Death from Garuda Purana. So last week I spoke the first portion of the part 2, and today we'll continue with the second portion of part 2. Actually, I'm halfway doing the third part actually, so of this journey of the soul of the death. So hopefully that in future, if I completed the third part, then I can share with all of you. So this to refresh what we spoke in the last week in the first portion of the part 2. We spoke about the nature of the soul, the size of the soul, and then where the soul located. And we also spoke about what we should be doing on the first 10 days, how the body, the soul will get a body of Pinda Sarira. And then first day Pinda, what the head, they will get the head. In subsequent for 10 days, they will get the full body. And how on the 13th day, the soul will depart to Yamaloka, and the journey will take 1 year to reach Yamaloka. Okay, so we'll continue with our class. So I also spoke last week where how during the journey of the 1 year, the soul will pass through 16 cities. Okay, in one journey to Yamaloka, and these are the 16 cities: Yamapuri, Saurapur, Nagendra, Bhavana. And 16 city the soul will go to is Bahubeti. And I also spoke how on the soul will reach the first city, that is Yamapuri, on the 18th day, and how Yamadutas will bring the soul with the speed of wind. They travel at the speed of wind for the first 17 days before they reach Yamapuri on the 18th day. Okay, so this also I spoke in the first part, where when the soul reaches the 8th city, which is called Chitra Bhavana, and the 9th city, which is called Bhavapada. So in between these two cities, there is one river called Vaitaranin River. Okay, so this is one of the hellish planet also, where the soul have to swim across this river. And the river is not made of water. The river is made of blood, urine, pus, bones, and all that, all the nasty stuff. And the sinful soul have to swim across the river. But at the bank of the Vaitarini River, there's one boat, and there'll be one boat, we call a driver, or boat wala. So you can, it is mentioned in Garuda Purana, those who have done dana in their life, charity in their life, especially pasu dana, go dana. So we have done charity, they can sit on the boat and cross the Vaitarana River. But those who have never done charity or dana will be kicked into the river, and then they have to swim across the Vaitarana River. The problem is that in the river there are crocodile, fishes, all with the teeth of a knife. So the soul is mentioned will be cut into pieces by the crocodile and fishes. So it's a very painful journey to cross the Vaitarana River. So that is why very important in our life that we must practice to give charity, to give dana. It's very, very important, especially the grahasthas. Okay, the householders, the married people. It is a prime duty of the married people, householders, grahasa, to give charity dana, especially to God-related activities, the God-related people. It's very, very important to give donation dana. There's one story. This story I heard in one of the lectures from Chaupati, India. He gave a lecture. In that lecture, he shared this story. This story concerning Punjabi Sikh community. Okay, so there are a few devotees. They went for a satsanga, for bhajans, for katha, religious, spiritual thought. And during the katha, the satsanga, the bhajan, they always see there's one lady will sit in front. Always, wherever they go for this kind of satsanga, they will always see one lady, the same lady, sitting in front. And then after a couple of this kind of satsanga, they approached the lady and asked her, who are you? Because we are seeing you in every satsanga, bhajans and all that, we are seeing you. You seem to be very devoted. The lady said, she told a story, why she'll make sure she join all the satsanga. She told a story. She said she was not very keen to attend all these satsanga, bhajans, all that. Okay. So one day, her friend asked her, forced her to come for one satsanga. Forced her. Actually, just because her friend is calling her, she came. She was very hesitant, reluctant to come, but she came for that satsanga. And then she sat in the satsanga for 2 hours listening the bhajans and the katha and all that. And after 2 hours, she felt boring and she left that place. She went back home after 2 hours. After some time, she got a disease. She got a disease and she died. At the final moment, she saw a few creatures came and took her from the body. Actually, they were the Yamadutas. She didn't know they were the Yamadutas because she was a Punjabi lady. She was telling the story and she saw a few creatures. So we understood that they were Yamadutas. They came and took her soul. And then they brought her and they were beating her and all that. And finally, they reached a river. They reached the river, and you can see in the river, there's so many people, dead body in the river, and some people are crying. There's so many fishes, a crocodile biting them, so much blood. And actually, but that river was actually White-Tunnel River. She didn't know when she told the story, but actually there's a White-Tunnel River. She saw, and she was crying at the bank because I told her to swim across the river. And she was crying. She was crying, don't know what to do. When she was crying and didn't know what to do, suddenly there appeared one lady, beautiful lady. She appeared nearby her. And the lady told her that, you don't cry. I'll carry you. I'll guide you from this river. And the lady took her across the river. And after she crossed the river, the lady was, she was moving away from the place. And this girl asked the lady, who are you? Why you came and helped me? And the lady said to the girl, you remember you spent 2 hours in a satsanga, hearing katha, bhajans and all. And the lady said that I'm the satsanga who came to help you. She said that I am the 2 hours satsanga came to help you. And after that, the lady disappeared. And after that, the creatures, the Yamaduta brought her to Yamaloka, to Yamaraj. Actually, she didn't know Yamaraj, but they brought me to one person who was sitting on the bull. And then the person nearby was Chitra Gupta. Actually, he opened the book and told that to Yamaduta, you got the wrong person. Her name was Harban's Kaur. You got the wrong Harban's Kaur. You got the wrong person. They scolded Yamadutas. Bring her back. Okay. And they brought her back. Very respectfully, they brought her back. When she opened her eyes, she was in the house and everybody was crying, relatives and everybody was crying. Then everybody was shocked because she came back alive. And she told us, everyone, what happened. And immediately after that, from that moment, she said, I'll never miss any satsanga, budgets and all in my life. Okay. So this is how we can understand how powerful even a one moment association, sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sadhu sarva koi. Lavamata sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoi. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned that even by one moment association, hearing katha, God's talk, by associating with the pure devotees, even one moment we can perfect our life. So from this story, we can understand how just by being 2 hours in Katha, Satsanga helped her to cross the Vaitara river. This story actually was told by the devotee from the he came to know this story from a Sikh religion. Mentioned in the Garuda Purana that if the dead person is a child of age less than 24 months, the body should be buried. Otherwise, it should be cremated. Okay. In our culture, Sanatana Dharma or Hindu Dharma, okay, all the bodies once upon death, they should be cremated. Okay, it should be burned. Okay, there's no such thing as burying actually. Burying is maybe some other religions, but in our culture, Hindu culture, actually we should cremate the body. Okay, then maybe we must burn the body. Okay, but there are few people where we don't burn. For example, if the child is 2 years younger than 2 years, okay, younger than 2 years, we should not cremate the body, we should bury the body. For example, sannyasi, if the sannyasi passes away, left the body, we should samadhi them, okay. So there are few cases, exceptional cases mentioned here in Garuda Purana, but otherwise we should always cremate the body, okay, it's very, very important. Okay, I also spoke this how after 1 month we perform a Masika Pinda. For the next 12 months, we must perform a Masika Pinda, that means monthly Pinda offering to the dead soul. Okay, so it's very, very important to perform this Masika Pinda. Unfortunately, a lot of Hindus, they do not know this. So they don't perform Masika Pinda, monthly offering of Pinda to the dead soul. So they do not know. Many people are not doing that. Okay, it's very, very important because it is mentioned that this is the only food will be consumed by the dead person. He got no other food except the food by the kings on earth. That is a Masika Pinda, monthly Pinda. So that's the only food they can consume. So it's very, very important for us to perform this Masika Pinda monthly for the next 12 months. Okay, if you go to temple, and the year they will give you, what's Tithi for the every month Tithi for the next 12 months. Okay, and then of course the 12th month, what we call Tausam in our Hindu culture. And that will be a big occasion where they'll call Ayar Pujari, they'll do a yagya, and they serve prashadam to many peoples. Okay. Otherwise, the first 11 Masika Pinda can be performed by the families in the house. They can put a picture and they can offer the Lord and Mahaprasad and Pinda, and they can offer to that person. Okay, they can do that in a small scale in the house. Okay, Pinda, just to what is Pinda made of? Okay, rice ball Pinda basically is made from cooked rice. Okay, you must overcook the rice, make it soft, and then you can add black sesame seed, and then you can add ghee and honey. Okay, these are the compulsory items, and then some people they will add milk, and some people will add fruits, which are all optional. Okay, but mandatory is cooked rice, black sesame seed, ghee and honey is mandatory. You can make a ball and you can offer to the soul. It is mentioned in Garuda Purana, this Pinda is the only food can be consumed by the dead person. You can't give anything else. You can give KFC, you can give McDonald's, burger, whatever. You can't give. Okay, nothing will go to them. The only thing eaten can be eaten by them is pinda. Okay, I'm not sure whether I spoke this story in the first part, but anyway, I just want to share with you the story that usually when you offer the pinda, you're offering to a dead person, and after that you can take the offering, and then usually we feed animals. Okay, we feed animals. You should not eat that offering. Okay, the offering you take it. You can give as a donation. You can feed animals. Okay, cows and fishes, goats. Okay, but the best animal for you to give that offering, which been offered to that person, is a crow. It is mentioned Garuda Purana. The crow is the best animal for you to feed this pinda offering, the dead body. So why crow is the best animal for us to offer this shraddha, this offering of the dead person to them? It is mentioned that in Ramayana it is mentioned once Lord Ram and Sita Devi sitting under a tree. And Sita Devi was lying on the lap of Lord Ram. Sita Devi was lying asleep on the lap of Lord Ram. And Indra's son, he took the form of a crow and he was flying. And then he saw Lord Ram and Sita Devi. And that crow came at the foot of Sita Devi and poked at the foot of Sita Devi. And Sita Devi awoke from the biting of crow. She woke. And Lord Ram became angry because Sita Devi was resting. And then her sleep was disturbed by the crow. And Lord Ram became angry. And Lord Ram cursed the crow. Lord Ram said that from now onwards, you will only see with one eyeball at a time. Lord Ram will curse the crow, then you will only see with eyeball at one time. Okay, so like both of us, we have two eyes. And when we see one object, we'll use two eyeballs to focus to see one object, right? Same with the most of the animals and all that, which has two eyes. Okay, so after that, from that moment onwards, crow can only see with one eyeball at a time. If left object, the crow will only see with the left eye. If a right object, the crow will only see with the right eye. So that was a curse of Lord Ram. So when Lord Ram cursed the crow became very apologetic, and then he apologized to Lord Ram and asked Lord Ram to show some mercy and some sympathy. And Lord Ram will then, out of sympathy, Lord Ram will give a boon to the crow. So Lord Ram will tell from words, only you can see a dead person, the soul. Only you can communicate to the dead person. And it is mentioned. So Lord Ram will give the boon to the crow. So it is mentioned that among all the animals, only crow can see Yamadutas, they can communicate with them, they can communicate to the dead person. Only they, because they have the power, the boon given by Lord Ram. That's why it is mentioned when we offer the Shraddha, the offering of dead person, to the crow will be satisfied and the crow will speak to the Yamadutas to bless the soul, to be humble, to be respectful. They will kind of recommend to the Yamadutas. Okay, once you feed them. Okay, so it is mentioned that is why crow is the best animal for you. The Shraddha food. Okay. So once one father was carrying his son, and then his son told his father, "Father, why you are being very nice to me? You're very loving to me, very nice to me. Whatever I ask, you'll buy for me, you'll give me. Why you are very loving to me, very nice to me?" So the father said, father சொன்னாரு, அவர் சொன்னா, ஐயா, நாளைக்கு நீ தான்ப்பா எனக்கு கொல்லி வைக்கணும்னு சொன்னாரு. ஸோ அப்போ அந்த பையன் சொன்னான், அப்பா நாளைக்கு எனக்கு ஸ்கூல்ப்பா, இன்னைக்கு நான் கொல்லி வச்சிருட்டாப்பா அப்படின்னு கேட்டான். So, okay, so next, remember I spoke that the soul will pass through 16 cities, okay, during the 1-year journey. So, when you offer the Masika Pinda, the first offering, first month offering, the soul will rest and eat at Yamyapuri. The second month Masika Pinda, the soul will rest and eat at Sauripura. And third at the Nagendra Bhavana. So like that, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, Chitra Bhavana. And the 9th offering, the soul will rest and eat Nana Krandapura. Like that. And the soul will stop and eat the 12th month offering Masika Pinda at a city called Bahubeti, the last city, the 16th city. The soul will rise and eat the 12th month offering. That is why, very important, where we usually do the 12th month, which is called 1,000, 1 month, 1 year, 1,000, big, where they'll do yagya, they'll feed a lot of people, So very, very important, because that is the last place, last city, the soul will eat the Masika Pinda before the soul will enter Yamaloka, Yamaraj Palace, okay? So it is said that at the 16th city, Bahupeti, the soul will eat the 12th-month Masika Pinda, that is a 1-year annual Shraddha at Bahupeti, okay, will eat. And then the soul, after eaten the 12th month, the soul will assume the body composed of essence of his merit from the Pinda offering and his punya. The soul will relinquish the body, which is called Pinda Sarira, dead body, and the soul will assume new body. And that new body is made of punya from the merits of the 12-month Pinda offering. So where they offered the 12-month Pinda offering, that punya will be used to make the body, new body. And whatever punya done on his behalf by the king, by the family on earth within the 1 year. Okay, whatever dana, whatever, but they read Bhagavad Gita, they chant, they give dana, they whatever, every punya they've done on earth by the kings, by the family members on her behalf. That punya, sukriti, they will use it to make new body. So that is why very important for us in 1 year. So the family members must do as much as possible punya on behalf of the dead person, because that punya will be used to compose the new body before the soul enter Yamaloka. Okay, after the soul receive a new body, the soul will enter Yamaraj Palace. The soul will enter the Yamaraj Palace after the 12 months. Eating the Masika Pinda and also assuming a new body. So it is mentioned in the Garuda Purana, there are 4 gates to enter Yamaraj Palace. There are 4 gates. Okay, there are northern gate, southern gate, eastern gate, and western gate. Okay. You remember I told you that those who are Punya Atma, those who are meant to go to heavenly planets, those they are Punya Atma. I told you that when they will receive a horse, they will use a different route to go to Yamalaka in the 1 year. And it is mentioned those who are pious soul will enter one of the 3 gates. That is either they enter the eastern gate or the western gate. One of the 3 gates. These 3 gates are meant for those who are Punya Atma, those who are meant to go to heaven. And those who are sinful souls who are meant to go to hell will enter through the southern gate. They will enter through the southern gate. Okay. So it's very, very important. That is why, at least while we are living, we should not do any sinful activities. We must do punya activities. So after entering the gates, finally the soul will be standing in front of Yamaraj. It will be brought in front of Yamaraj. And Yamaraj, beside Yamaraj, is his assistant Chitra Gupta. And Chitra Gupta will open the book of the soul. Whatever he have done on earth, okay, while living on earth, whatever punya has done. So that is why it is within the 1 year, whatever punya been done on behalf of the dead person by the family members, Chitra Gupta's book will change. Okay, that's why we should not do any sinful activities on behalf of on the name of that person. We should do punya activities. So Chitra Gupta will weigh the punya and the sin of the soul. If the soul has more punya than sin, Yamaraj will send the soul to heaven. If the soul has more sin than punya, Yamaraj will send the soul to hell. Okay. So I also like to share, there's in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is what the Yamaraj wants. Okay. There is in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 13, text 15. It is mentioned here. As long as Vidura played the part of a Sudra being cursed by Manduka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamaraj to punish those who committed sinful acts. Okay, once Manduka Muni will curse Yamaraj to fall down as a Sudra, and that person will be born as Vidura. Okay, the brother of King Dasarashtra, the brother. Okay. So I just want to share a little bit the background of this story. When Yamaraj fell down to be born on earth, there's a vacancy in the position, the post of Yamaraj. So Aryama was the chief of Pitraloka. So Aryama, the position of Yamaraj, while Yamaraj was on earth. And the position of Yamaraj was taken by Aryama. So this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. I just want to share the story how Yamaraj was cursed by Manduka Muni. Once there was one Muni called Manduka Muni. Okay, he was a great Muni. So Manduka Muni once was meditating at his ashram. So there were a few thieves, few robbers who just finished robbing. They were running and then they hid in the ashram of Manduka Muni. Manduka Muni was in deep meditation. He didn't realize the robbers were hiding in his ashram. After that, the king's soldiers came. They were looking for the robbers. So they asked Manduka Muni, did you see any robbers in this way? But Manduka Muni was in deep meditation. He didn't answer. And when the soldiers, they searched inside the ashram of Manduka Muni, they found the robbers hiding in the ashram of Manduka Muni. And they caught the robbers, and then they thought Manduka Muni is the one who were giving the protections and part of the team. And they caught hold of Manduka and brought him to the king. And the king sentenced them to death punishment. How they be punished? They'll be pierced by spear. Okay, they'll be pierced by spear until they die. That was the punishment given to them. And all the robbers, they died when they were pierced by spear by the soldier, except Manduka Muni, because he was powerful as a yogi, he didn't die. And then the news went to the king, and the came and apologized to Manduka Muni, realizing that he's a great soul, a great Muni. The king apologized from the Manduka Muni and released Manduka Muni. And Manduka Muni went straight to Yamaloka. He went straight to Yamaloka, and with the spear, half spear, still attached to his body. Madhika Muni went to Yamaloka to meet Yamaraj and asked Yamaraj why I was given this punishment to be speared, to be pricked by the spear. So Yamaraj answered that when you were small, what you did, you took a grass, a serpent grass, and you poked an insect. You killed an insect when you were small. Then Mandika Muni asked Yamaraj, how old was I when I did that offense? And Yamaraj said, you were about 2 plus, less than 3 years old. And Mandaka Muni became very angry and he said, what I know when I was a small boy, how come for a small offense I did when I was a small boy and I was given such a huge punishment like this? So after that, Mandaka Muni will curse Yamaraj, you are not suitable person to be in this position. I curse you to fall down on earth as a Sudra, be born as a Sudra. So some Mandaka Muni will curse Yamaraj, and Yamaraj will fall down and be born as Vidura. And during the pastime of Krishna, he'll be born as Vidura, the brother of the Saraswara, the elder brother of Pandu, the father of Pandavas. And during the Bhagavad Purana mentioned that Aryama will take the position of Yamaraj and perform the duty. Okay. And Mandaka Muni will say, he will say this, he will say, I hereby establish as a principle of justice that henceforth there will be no heavy sin considered for children up to 14 years of age. After that, they will be held responsible for the offenses. Okay. So it is mentioned that if any child below 14 years old, if they did any sin or any offense, there won't be any karma carried by the child. Only after 14 years old, if the child won't commit any sin, he'll have to suffer the karma. This is mentioned here. So below 14 years old, there's no karma will be suffered by the child. Okay. Share the stories of how at one point where how Yamaraj will be cursed by Mandaka Muni be born as Vidura on earth. So it is mentioned in Garuda Purana that whatever activity we do, whether good or bad, there's a karma, there's a reaction, we have to suffer. And it is mentioned that Chitra Gupta, who record all our activities, has an agent to perform the duty. Not Chitra Gupta doesn't record our activities. All our activities are recorded by his agent who are called Shravanas. Shravanas are agents of Chitra Gupta, and their wives are called Shravanis, their wives, and they are called Shravanas. In our universe, there are 14 Shravanas and 14 Shravanis. Okay, in our universe, from Brahmaloka up to Pataloka, there are 14 Shravani, who will record every Jiva's activities. They will record. Okay, so, and the second person who records our activities are the Paramatma, Super Soul in our heart. Okay, both of them will submit the report to Chitra Gupta. All our activities, pious activity, good activity, every activity will be submitted to Chitra Gupta. And Chitra Gupta will record the book. And Chitra Gupta is the one who will replenish, will update Yamaraj when the soul stands in front of Yamaraj. And Yamaraj will give punishment accordingly. Okay? So this is how we can understand how all our activities are recorded by two persons, that is our Shravanas and also Paramatma. The Shravani is actually their lady, the wife of Shravan. They will record the activity of the ladies on the universe. Okay? Shravanas, they will record the activity of the guys. And Shravanis the wife of Shravan, they will record the activities of the ladies in this universe. It is mentioned sinful life leads to hell. Okay. So if you perform a lot of things, sinful life, then it will lead us to hell. That is why very, very important for us to live a healthy life, to live not a sinful life, at least to lead a pious life. So in this Krishna consciousness, we can see how we are promoting a healthy life, we are promoting a pious life, we are promoting a devotional life. Because all this activity, when we perform, will not bring us to hell. But in this Kali Yuga, we can see almost everyone are committing, they are living a sinful life. Practically everyone. You can see there's so many animals being killed every day. Millions of animals killed every day. So which carries a lot of a huge kind of a karma it will carry just by killing the animals. So that is, it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 text. Krishna said, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Krishna said that because they are engaged in sense gratification, they do all kinds of sinful activities. That is why in Krishna consciousness is very, very important for us. We practice these, we try to avoid these four sinful, basic sinful activities, that is intoxication, illicit sex, plundering, and also gambling, plundering, and also meat eating. We try to avoid because all four sinful activities carries huge karma, which can take us to hell. It is mentioned in Garuda Purana also, the house of Chitragupta is beside the house of Yamaraj. Okay? The house of Chitragupta is just beside the house of Yamaraj. It is mentioned that Yamaloka is so beautiful. So many diamonds, the streets are full of golds, the roads, the pillars, the houses are made of gold, silver, jewels. It's a very, very opulent city, it is mentioned in Garuda Purana. And the house Chitragupta is just beside the house of Yamaraj. And at the northern side of Chitragupta's palace is a house of Cholera. There is a scene, there is a personification, a Cholera personification actually, is a deva. So his house is at the northern of Chitragupta palace. At the southern of Chitragupta palace, there is a house of pain. At the western side, western side there's a fever, and the eastern side there's a news, color, indigestion. Western side and the eastern side. Okay, all these typhoid, unconscious, you can see all these, actually they are diseases, but they are personifications of this, and they have their residence surrounding Chitragupta palace. It is mentioned in Garuda Purana. So once, there's one boy who refused to study. He didn't want to study. So once his mother told him, son, if you get all A's in your subjects, father will give you a kiss every day. If you get A's in your subjects. The son said to his mother, mother, what do you think our housemate is getting A's? Every day I'm seeing father is giving her a kiss. Okay. So is she getting any A? Because I can see father is giving a kiss to her every day. So this is also important for all of us to understand. Okay, it is mentioned in Garuda Purana, that is a 12 or 13 days, there is a karmadi. Sometimes people do on 14 days, 15 days. Karmadi. So on the karmadi, there are a few items you should give as a dana, as a donation to the pujari who perform the yagya, who perform the karmadi ceremony. There are a few items compulsory you must give them. Okay, such as umbrella, shoes, clothes, ring, water jar, stool, and vessel. It is mentioned it's compulsory to give this item as a donation to the priest who perform the karmadi. Okay, because it is mentioned that When you give shoes, okay, when you give shoes as a donation, as dana to the Brahmana, the dead person will be given a horse to ride during the 1 year journey. They'll be given a shoe and they'll be given a horse to ride. Okay, it is mentioned when you give donation, dana, shoes dana to the pujari. And it is mentioned that if you give umbrella, the dead person will get a shade. And during the journey of 1 year, the dead person will get a shade if you give umbrella donation. And it is mentioned if you give clothes donation, they will get clothes. Okay, the journey will be full of winds, will be pleasant journey. So whatever item you give as a donation to the Brahmana, to the Pujari, the dead person will get. And during the journey, that's very, very important for us to give such items donation during Karmadi. Okay, this is also very important. All of us should understand because many people do not know this. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, chapter 14, text 20 to 23 purport, it is mentioned. If one perform the Shraddha ceremony of oblation to the forefathers, Shraddha ceremony means Karmadi, Masika Pinda, 1 year thousand, or yearly thousand. This is called Shraddha ceremony. If one performs the Shraddha ceremony of oblation to the forefathers on Ekadasi Tithi, then the performer, the forefathers, for whom the Shraddha is observed, and the Purohita or the family priests who encourage the ceremony all go to heaven. It is very, very important for us to understand you should not do any Shraddha ceremony on Ekadasi Tithi. Ekadasi Tithi is the 11th day in our calendar. Okay? So Ekadasi, Dasi means 10, Eka means 1 and 10 is 11. On the 11th day Tithi, Ekadasi, you should not do any Shraddha. If the Shraddha Karmadi or 1,000 or yearly 1,000 falls on Ekadasi, you must do on the next day, that is on Dwadasi Tithi. You should not do any Ekadasi, any Shraddha on the Ekadasi. It is mentioned heavily here that if you do a Shraddha ceremony on that Ekadasi Tithi, the pujari who performed that, the dead person, the forefathers, all will go to hell. And this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm not creating a story here. I'm just quoting exactly this exact word. You can take chapter Canto 7, 14, chapter 23 purport. This mentioned. But unfortunately, in our society, many people do not know this. I've seen people who perform Shraddha Karmadi on Ekadasi Tithi. It's very, very sad because they do not know. Okay, so it's very, very important for us to understand that you should not perform any Shraddha ceremony on Ekadasi Tithi. Okay, next we'll talk about how the soul, we mentioned about if the Punya Atma, the soul have done a lot of Punya, the soul will go to heaven, Swarga Loka. This is the 14 planetary system. You can see how Earth is called Bhuloka. Okay, how is Bhuloka? That's Earth. Above Earth, there are Bhuar Loka. Above Earth, Bhuar Loka. And that Bhuar Loka is where the goose lives, the goose. And above Bhuar Loka, there is Swarga Loka. That is heavenly planet, where all the devas live. There is Swarga. That is heaven. And above Swarga Loka, there is Mahaloka. Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, where we have all the sages, great yogi, muni, sages, they are living there. This is Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. And above Tapaloka is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma resides. That is the highest planetary system within our material world. And above that, there is Brahma Jyoti and Vaikuntha Loka, spiritual world. So many people talk about going to heaven, heaven, heaven. So heaven is just within the planet system. Okay, that is called Swarga Loka. So when they go to heaven, they will live in the heaven as long as the punya exists. When the punya depleted, they'll fall down again to earth, be born on earth once the punya depleted. So as long as the punya is there, they can enjoy on Swargaloka, on heaven. But after that, once the punya depleted, they'll fall down again to earth. So how they fall down to earth, it is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is mentioned, okay, in Srimad Bhagavatam, how they fall down to earth, very nicely explained. Okay, so once they're in heaven, once the punya depleted, immediately the soul will die and then they fall down from heaven. Once they fell down from heaven, the soul will enter the rains in clouds. The soul from the heaven, they will enter, they fall down, they'll enter the rains in clouds. After that, the rains will fall on earth and will enter the grains. And the soul will enter the grains. And then the grains will be eaten by men. They will enter the man. And then through semen, they will impregnate a woman. They will enter the womb of a woman. Okay, through semen. And then after that, a child will be born, the soul will be born. This is how it is mentioned in our Srimad Bhagavatam. Once the soul reaches heavenly planet, Swargaloka, heaven, and once the punya depleted, they will fall down to earth through step by step. This is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So, in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 31, very nicely explained. Kapila Dev, Lord Kapila is the incarnation of Krishna. He will come as Lord Kapila and will explain the Sankhya philosophy. And this is his mother. His mother will surrender to him, his son, and hear the Sankhya philosophy. In this canto 3 and chapter 31, Lord Kapila Dev will explain how the soul will enter the body or the womb of a mother, and then how the soul will grow, how the fetus, the embryo will grow from the day 1 to the 9th month before the deliverance, before the soul appear on earth again. Very scientifically explained. This was explained 5,000 years ago. Can you imagine? Our scripture already in detail explained how the body, the child, the embryo, the fetus will develop in the womb of a mother. So I want to show you one video done by our ISKCON, Bhaktivedanta scientific group. They have done a very nice video. I want to show you, you can have a look how, from computer graphic design, how we can see the child, fetus develop from the day 1 to before they born this world. Okay, which is called human embryology development. You can see a short video.
And when the body is the warm, usable, then the body is finished, and the soul again enters another body. This is called transmigrant. What is the next body you are going to get? You must have information.
Hare Krishna. That's how the cycle you have to go through. The birth itself is so painful. And then once you have taken the birth, we'll go through another three kind of suffering: Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadi, and disease, old age, and death. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna, just want to share. Once two friends were speaking, they were talking to each other. So one of the friend, Bulbul Singh, asked his friend, if you're married to one of the twin sisters who are identical, how would you recognize your wife? And if both of them standing together and they were say wearing same dress, they appear exactly same, how you recognize your wife? And then Madhya Singh, a friend, said, it's not difficult. You just go and pinch one of them. If she screams at you, she's your wife. If she smiles, she's your sister-in-law. And this is how we can recognize who's your wife if both of them are twins. Okay, I just want to share a last story tonight. A wonderful story from Narasimha Purana. One of the Purana called Narasimha Purana. This is a very nice story. There was once a man, a young man, who has a beautiful girlfriend. So one day, both of them agreed to meet at the seashore beside the sea. While the man was waiting for his friend, he brought with him a beautiful flower, a rose flower. So while he was waiting for his girlfriend, he was playing with the waves of the sea. So while he was playing, all of a sudden he fell into the sea, and the waves took him to the middle of the sea. This story was actually told in Narasimha Purana. So when he was in the middle of the sea, he didn't know to swim. So he knew that he's going to die. He knew that he's going to die. So while before he sank into the sea, he was holding the rose flower. And he thought, let me offer these flowers to the Lord. He threw the flower into the sky and offered to the Lord before he died. He sank into the sea and died. And when he died, Yamadutas came and took his soul to Yamaloka. And Yamaloka, then he was standing in the Yamaraj. And Chitra Gupta opened the book and told Yamaraj that he has done so much sin, so many sins, he is supposed to go to hell. But he has done one good thing, that is, before he died, he offered one flower to the Lord, to Krishna. For that good thing he has done in his life. So Yamaraj told him that for that good punya you have done, you are given 10 seconds to be born on heaven. You can be born in heaven for 10 seconds for that last good thing you have done before you die. So after that, you'll have to come back to heaven. So the next moment, he opened his eye, he saw himself in heaven. And he knew that he only has 10 seconds. So what he did, he immediately grabbed the sword of one soldier, one guard who was standing there. And he went immediately to the garden because heaven is full of garden flowers. He immediately chopped the flowers one by one, the flower he chopped, and he offered to Krishna. Krishna, I'm offering the flower. Purushottama, I'm offering this flower. Damodarama. So all the flowers he chopped within 10 seconds and he offered to Krishna. And after 10 seconds, Yamaraj came to heaven and told him that for what you have done, you are not going to hell. You will remain in heaven. Okay. So from this story, we can understand that Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, what is it? Patram padam toyam, yomi bhaktya prayachati, tadham bhakti prayatad manaha. Krishna said, you can offer me with love a flower, a water, a tulsi leaf, and fruit. You offer me with love, patram padam toyam, yomi bhaktya prayachati, but you offer me love. I will accept it. Okay, so that is why very, very important in our life, that we must make a practice to offer Krishna every day some flowers, some fruits, tulsi leaf, water, every day in a house. We must make a practice because it carries a tremendous punya, tremendous sukriti it brings just by offering. You can see from the story of this Narashipura, just by offering a flower to Krishna, he deserved 10 seconds to live in heaven. Okay. Okay, to wrap up our presentation today, so I like to share in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 5, Krishna said, whoever had quits his body, remembering me alone at once, obtain my boat. Krishna said that. Okay. So we can see from the story of Ajamila how he was saved from the wrath of Yamadutas by Vishnuduta just because he remembered Krishna at the time of death and he called Narayana at the time of death. So that is very important for us. That is why in our Krishna consciousness, we teach people to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Because every day we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, you're practicing. You're practicing to control the mind in the senses. At the time of death, when we are about to leave the body, we can remember Krishna. We can call his name. We can call Hare Krishna. Then when we call Krishna's name, Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, he promised that I will come and take the soul back home to my spiritual world. Okay. And in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1866, Krishna finally wrap up Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all reaction. Do not fear. Okay, Krishna says this. But give up all kind of dharma, whatever you're doing, give up and just surrender to me. Mam ekam saranam raja. Krishna says, just surrender to me. And Krishna says, I'll burn whatever sin, everything I'll burn away. And I take you back to spiritual, to Vaikuntha Loka. So I've been speaking to you for last week, and this week I've been speaking to you. All these journey to hell, everything can be avoided just by sending to Krishna, become a devotee, and we can go back home to spiritual. We can avoid all whatever I've told you, journey to Yamaraj, all these pinta, everything can be avoided. We don't have to do. We simply surrender to Krishna and perform bhakti with the devotion. And then Krishna said, I will burn all your sin and I will take you back to my spiritual abode. Okay? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, 6, and text 66. And he said, text 65, Krishna said, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me, thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my dear friend. Krishna promised, Krishna giving a promise here, if you dedicate your life in serving me, remembering me, offer your homage to me, Krishna said, I will come. I will come and take you back to my spiritual abode. Krishna said this in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 65. Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you very much.